Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad Iqbal Fahmi Rahmat. I am from group M3801102E. My student ID is 2021848324. In this presentation, I would like to discuss about how do mortgage moratorium affect Malaysian economy. So let's begin. Let's start with the introduction. Due to the COVID-19 crisis, the government have announced moratorium to support the people. Since the pandemic happened, the borrower might have inability to pay the installment. This moratorium process can only be dealt with the bank, but is set by the government. This moratorium is held to help the borrower. Next, let me see what is mortgage. Mortgage is an agreement between the borrower and lender to purchase or refinance a home without having the money upfront. Loan will have a interest. Lenders get legal authority if the borrower fails to pay the installment. Mortgage, also known as mortgage loan. There are two main parties in the mortgage process. First, the buyer. The second, the lender. The buyer. The buyer is also known as mortgagor or the borrower. The buyer need to prepare documents such as bank statement, tax return, and payslip. If there is more than one buyer, all of the buyer need to hand in the document too. For example, the buyer consists of partner, of a group member, or a family member. Number 4, the buyer need to inform the lender about any upcoming event that could affect the agreement. Number 5, the buyer need to be aware of any decision and option before making the agreement between the lender. Next, things that buyer need to know before making an agreement. Firstly, the buyer must know what types of house and location that they want before they make an agreement with the lender. Second, the buyer must know what is their monthly budget for the installment they can afford. Lastly, the number need to know the period they want to live in the house. After that is the lender. The lender is known as mortgagee or the party that give the loans. The lender assists the borrower to make a choice. The lender must determine the potential home for the borrower. The lender also set the process of mortgage origination procedure. So, next is, what is moratorium? Moratorium is an activity or law is suspended until further consideration. A government, authorities, or a company can all impose a moratorium. Moratorium are often imposed in response to temporary financial hardships. For the example is COVID-19 pandemic that is happening in our country right now. Next, let's talk about MCO moratorium that is happening. First thing we need to know about the MCO moratorium is the borrower, whether they are individual, micro businesses, or SME, small and mid-sized enterprise, can involve in the moratorium. This does not require any supporting evidence. Also, automatic approval will be granted to the borrower. Banks will provide various package and guiding support to the borrower. The period given is 6 months. Here are 4 types of moratorium. Firstly, government imposed moratorium. the moratorium imposed by the government because of the crisis. Secondly, the independent moratorium, which is bank or other financial institution that are subject to government imposed can prohibit the moratorium. Thirdly, capital moratorium. Capital moratorium is the fundamental ban after effect or natural disaster that cause damage to capital properties. And lastly, debt moratorium. The debt repaid is delay, transaction between two government agency or between government and public. And here we are, the mortgage moratorium effect on Malaysian economy. Central Bank of Malaysia instructed banks to implement a 6-month moratorium since 2020. However, the moratorium turned into non-performing loans. Moratorium could present significant risk to financial institutions. According to Malaysian Finance Minister, banking industry will lose 6.4 billion ringgit as well as 1.06 billion ringgit per month. The 6-month blanket caused a modification loss of 79 billion ringgit Malaysia. Banks are less able to provide new loans to modification loss. Hence, bank rating have fallen. So, the local industry has been poor. Net interest income also has been poor. Malayan Banking Berhad had lost worth of 1 billion ringgit Malaysia. 70% of my bank loans is subject to moratorium. My bank stated that they are unable to pay dividends for the second quarter of 2020. This case are applied to nearly all Malaysian banks. This caused bad effect on the stock market and caused the stock market to falling. This mortgage moratorium have a detrimental effect on Malaysian economy, especially the local bank stock price. I think that is all about mortgage moratorium and their effect on the Malaysian economy. Thank you and Assalamualaikum.